Thank you for that, Lo. Welcome, everybody. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha, and I'm so happy to be here. And I invite you to arrive fully to our practice. I'd like to create a framework around the meditative practice that we're going to have this evening because it is actually a theme that we're working on and we're exploring for the month of September. And that theme is interconnection. And this is the way of looking at all the ways we are connected to one another, objects, places, ideas, people. And those connections have multiple connections. And so we are, by extension, intimately connected to so many, many things that create the reality of our lives. And so we take time to kind of pull apart the threads of this connection so that as a way of better understanding ourselves. Last week, I brought forward the sub-theme to interconnection by talking about the positive and negative attributes of being self-centered. Today, I shared with you last week 3 instruments of peace, 3 tools that one can use to slowly peel back the layers, slowly peel the threads of our interconnection. And those instruments of peace are practices that I call just like me. Would you look at that? And what else is true? I love these 3 practices. They arise in my life every single day. When I encounter somebody who is behaving in a way that I am quick to judge, that I disapprove of, for example, I immediately, or as soon as I possibly can, look at that individual and say, oh, just like me, you're upset, you're confused, you're suffering. And then when I look at my reactivity, my judgments, my negativity, that's when I invite myself to say, wow, would you look at this? Look at all this arising. Look at all this mental formations. Look at all the ways I'm hooked and I'm spinning out on stories. Look at the tension in my body. Look at the way I have decided that all of this is real. And look at how much energy I might actually be wasting over something that is less real than I make it to be. And that brings us to the next instrument of peace. What else is true? Because even though I may be having all this reactivity and it might not be based fully in reality, some of it is. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so reactive. So then, rather than getting down on myself for being reactive, for spinning out, for telling stories, I pause a moment and go, Julia, okay, what else is here for me to look at? What else is true? These 3 powerhouse instruments are life changing and they allow us to ground, to center, to anchor in oneself so that we can really understand, why am I thinking what I'm thinking? Why am I feeling what I'm feeling? Why am I having all of these stories? What is the origin of all of this, if I can? And the motivation behind all of this is to cultivate enough healing so that I can be of benefit to others. That is the intention. That is the motivation. That is the lifelong dedication. Today and this week, we are going to be talking about a meditative practice called Vipassana, and it simply means deep looking. Vipassana is a posture as well. So it's a posture of deep looking. Not only is it the practice, but it's a way of holding yourself. It's a way of holding your body. So it's somewhat active. What I'd like for you to do as you arrive into this Vipassana practice is bring your attention and your awareness gently inward to the body and take a quick scan, take quick stock of how is your body. And if you can, I'm sitting at a desk, I'm sitting in a chair, a nice wooden chair, but I'm not leaning back. I'm sitting right at the edge of my seat because I'd like to have a reflective posture. So what I'm going to do is sit nice and tall and hips relative to the core of my body is roughly 90 degrees. My spine is nice and straight. My belly is nice and soft. I'm going to roll my shoulders up and roll them back and down. If you're sitting on a cushion, I'd like you to sit nice and tall. Allow your hands to find a place to rest. Hands on your knees, palms down or palms up, depending upon how you're feeling. Palms down is grounding, palms up is receptive. You can also take a more meditative posture where you have your right hand resting in your left hand with your thumbs touching. And you can rest that toward the base of your lap. And again, close your eyes if that's comfortable for you and take a deep breath. Interconnection. Just like me. Would you look at that? What else is true? For our Vipassana practice today, the mantra, the idea that I'd like you to hold reverently in the heart and mind is this: through the kindness of others, I am here. Through the kindness of others, I am here. Many years ago, I was first introduced to this deep-looking practice with a meditation by Thich Nhat Hanh called Tangerine meditation. And I'd like to share this with you, and you can do this practice with anything. It is a very simple practice. However, to engage it fully, give yourself a little bit of time, because one of the elements of this practice is an invitation to slow down. Allow the body to settle and allow the breath to find an easy rhythm. When you do this tangerine meditation at home, it is wonderful to actually hold a tangerine as you do this. But for now, just allow this meditation to play creatively in your mind. Picture a tangerine and maybe imagine it resting in your hands. And then allow your imagination to go to a tangerine tree or even a grove of tangerines someplace in the United States where they grow them. Tangerines, the conditions for this particular plant, this particular fruit, are places like California and Florida. Tangerines do not grow well in Alaska unless they are in a climate controlled greenhouse type environment, because the conditions for a tangerine to thrive are very specific. There are requirements in the soil, there are requirements with the sun, how much sun for how many days, how many hours during the day. There's so much involved in the growth and the success of a single tangerine tree and a single tangerine. Imagine it flowering. Imagine the aroma, the sweet, aromatic, citrus scent of tangerine. If you are someone who deals with the blues, sadness, tangerine is an aroma that is actually a mood booster. It's energizer. And so you can purchase tangerine essential oils, and I like to use them in the shower after I shower, and it's just a sweet citrus mood lifter scent. Imagine that there is someone tending to this tangerine tree. Maybe a farmer, maybe an owner who has a working staff, maybe there's somebody who weeds the orchard, maybe there's somebody in charge of, unfortunately, putting down herbicides and pesticides. Maybe there's somebody on call for should the temperatures drop, they have warming lights so there's no frost on the delicate flowers of the tangerines. So many people dedicated to the encouragement and growth of a tangerine. Imagine that the leaves, the petals of the tangerine flower fall away, but behind is a ripening fruit. And imagine in time it's harvest season. And imagine how that is. I've seen equipment that gently shakes trees, and when the fruit is ready, it drops. There was a time where tangerines were picked by hand, many hands. People with hands just like me. People with families just like me. People who experience love and joy, sadness and confusion just like me. Their dreams and emotions are present as they're harvesting this tangerine. The tangerines are in baskets or boxes, and they're taken to sorting rooms, maybe in a great big giant warehouse, where more hands, more people just like me are interacting with this fruit. Maybe it's a warehouse that now puts them into bags or baskets. Some are sold locally at fruit stands, others are shipped all over the nation in giant trucks. They arrive at a grocery store where they are met by more hands, more people just like me. And those tangerines and those bags are stocked in the produce section of the grocery store where I finally arrive and can buy a bag of tangerines. The kindness of others is deeply connected to me about to enjoy a tangerine. I take that tangerine home, and maybe I don't even think about anything other than just peeling it open. And before I know it, I've just inhaled it and I've hardly tasted it. I've hardly been present to the, what, hundreds of people maybe that have been associated with this moment I could have with this tangerine. So Thich Nhat Hanh always encourages us to, when we have tangerine, when we're holding it, and really it's anything, it's your mug of tea, it's your toothbrush, it's your toilet paper, it's your clothing, it's everything. Take a moment to consider all of the people, places, objects, thoughts, emotions, stories that are present right now with me. So Thich Nhat Hanh taught us slowly and mindfully to peel the tangerine, allow the essential oils to permeate the air so I can smell them. And then slowly peel a section of the tangerine, contemplating, look at all that's here. What else is here? And then finally take that bite and allow the sweetness of it to really stimulate the tongue and the olfactory senses, savor the flavor of this tangerine. Maybe I'm having a confused moment, maybe I'm having an angry moment, but maybe by taking this bite of a tangerine, I can remember many, many people just like me. Maybe they're feeling anger, and maybe if I step into the sweetness of this treat, this beautiful fruit that so many people have committed themselves to encouraging and nurturing, maybe they'll feel a little less angry in this moment. It is through the kindness of others, the presence of others, that I get to enjoy whatever it is that I'm enjoying. This is interconnection. There's so much to look at. Do you look at that? All of that. What's there? What else is there? And maybe by taking this time to see what else is involved, there's so much. It helps bring us out of that self-centered place that can be inflated and exaggerated and negative. We take everything personally. We blame ourselves. We're very negative and hypercritical. Maybe by remembering all that's there in just a tangerine, we can take it all a little less seriously, open up to the intimate connections we have with people all over the world. Your grapes from Mexico, your peppers from South America, where are your bananas coming from? Where are your clothes made? All of these people, all of their capacity for kindness, you now possess. May this gentle reflection be a kindness for them coming from you. This is how we look deeply. This is how we give ourselves time to be curious about whatever is grabbing our attention. And we can start practicing with simple things like the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the things we hardly take notice of. Notice them. There's kindness there. May you receive it and may you share it. Let's take a moment to just enjoy this reflection in a little bit of silence, allowing your own imagination to ripen. And I'd like to go ahead and end now with a dedication of merit. And really, what I'd like to do is I just would like to very gently recognize the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. With a wide open heart, let's bow to our Buddha nature and our capacity to awaken to the causes and conditions of suffering. Let us take a moment to bow to teachings that allow us to awaken to our propensity for negativity and to shine a gentle light on all things positive so that we can begin to cultivate a meadow of kindness to share with the world. And let's bring forward and bow to the Sangha, the community of wise friends who are here to encourage us, to inspire us, people with whom we can practice and share and experiment, people who are as dedicated as we are so that we can continue to be of benefit to all. Thank you so much for your beautiful practice. We'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.